Hey, welcome back. Part 2, this week's 3-Ball Walk. Thanks for joining us. And Major League Baseball. We were talking about Johnny Bench, Tony Perez.
Yep.
Who do you like at catcher better than Johnny Bench?
Well, let's start there. Are we going all time, or are we going the ones we saw first? Which way you want to head this?
Well, like I saw Johnny Bench when I was a kid. Does that count?
That counts. Yeah, that counts.
So TV counts.
TV counts. TV or live counts.
That's where I saw most of my baseballs
Right.
on TV.
And so it's either that you've seen in our lifetime. I'm 55. So in my 55 years, the guys I saw, who's the best, and then who's the best of all time.
Catching?
Which way you want to go first?
Well, let's start with who you've seen. And most of it, as old as we are, I mean, not counting the Babe Ruths and the Lou Gehrig's.
Yeah, some of those.
We've seen almost all of them, so.
I don't know. We have not on my list. Not on my list. There's some
Your list will be interesting.
My list is some I haven't seen.
Okay, and then catching. What are we looking at? Because it's a whole thing.
All right, so here's my
Let's see the
best person that I have seen, and this was difficult because I saw Johnny Bench, and it's going to not make sense when I tell you that I think Johnny Bench was the best of all time, but the best I've seen is Ivan Rodriguez.
Pudge was good.
He was really good.
Now,
Pudge was
Yadier
good.
Molina is probably the best one playing now. If we went with who's currently playing, I would go with Molina. So that would be my thing.
See, if you want to go scene, I probably agree. I mean, I really don't. I can look at Johnny Bench's numbers, and I remember as a kid, I mean, different things, and you can sit there and bring him up as the greatest all time and whatnot. As far as seeing, the opportunity to see Charles Johnson day in and day out in 1997 when he became, and is still to this day, the only catcher in history to play an entire season without making a single error or allowing a single pass ball. No one has ever done that.
It's amazing.
And with Kevin Brown's nasty stuff and Al Leiter and the pitching staff he had winning the World Series, obviously the bat's not there and we're looking at 1 year, but that year of Charles Johnson
I wasn't
was
thinking of just 1 year.
absolutely ridiculously
I wasn't thinking of 1 year. I was thinking of the body of work.
But as far as seeing, hey, wow. I mean,
do you think,
getting
Bob?
to watch that every day.
I picked Johnny Bench. I can remember him very vividly, and hating the Reds. My grandmother was a huge Reds fan. I hated the Reds, but you had to respect Johnny Bench.
And then
they were on TV a lot back
I wore
then.
number 5
For Johnny Bench?
For Johnny Bench.
But the Reds
And
were
then
on
the
TV
other,
a lot.
and then the
That's
other,
what I
which I still now in the Hall of Fame, but I really do believe because of the stigma around him and everything, completely underrated, if you can say that. I don't think there was a better hitting catcher than Mike Piazza.
I was just going to say Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza is a hitting catcher. No one compares.
But
Look
they
at the numbers.
But they do. Bench does. Bench has more home runs. Bench has more doubles. Bench has more triples. Bench has more bases. Bench has more walks. Bench has more RBIs.
I'm not going to.
Is the fencing class in here today? It's
No, I'm just saying. But let's move on. You can have
greatest all-time catcher.
Bench, Johnny Bench.
See, I picked Yogi Berra.
That was a tough one.
It was very hard, but I picked Berra for his durability, his longevity, and the fact that he all the championship teams. And I was watching Ken Burns baseball one time, and I can't remember who makes a quote, but they interviewed Casey Stengel. He said, "I never play a game without my man," and the guy had no idea what he was talking about. Later on, he realized he never played a game without Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
We're
gonna have to pick it up.
Roy Campanella.
Yeah,
But I'll sit there. I'll have to break the tie.
Yep.
And I'll go with Johnny Bench.
Okay, Johnny Bench.
And my metrics, just so you know, are based on statistical analysis of the WAR category, the wins against replacement.
No.
Okay, let's go. First base.
First base. Are you going first base instead of pitcher? First base all time, Lou Gehrig. How can he not?
Lou
I picked
Gehrig.
Jimmy Fox over Lou Gehrig.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
I take Lou Gehrig over Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig was
So
awesome.
we teamed up on him 2-1.
Yeah,
2-1.
2-1 on that one. All right.
No, and we did on Johnny Bench. I mean,
That's
we're
true.
right.
When'd you seen? First
No.
baseman?
Oh, the ones that I've seen?
Yeah.
That's a tough one because I wanted to pick a tie between Pujols and Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera, I mean, it's hard.
Pujols was just better, I think, defensively.
I picked was Pujols. Yeah. And it was hard because I wanted to pick Orlando Cepeda.
See, that's where I'm going.
That's who I wanted to
How'd
pick.
you know that's where I was going?
Well, I'm a He played for the Braves, but it's like, but he
You can't pick all Latin players.
You can't.
It's not. They're Cardinals. Orlando Cepeda.
Orlando Cepeda. But
Charles Johnson isn't Latin. Lou Gehrig's not Latin.
That's true.
Pujols.
Come on.
Pujols.
Pujols was
Pujols
I'm with you, Cepeda. I'm with you.
I think you can go there. All right. What about second base?
Ooh, all time.
I don't know who gets underrated in that position. Let me jump the gun here.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Roberto Alomar.
Yes, yes.
For
very
all
much so.
around defensively, in his prime,
Very much
he
so.
was a stud.
Yep.
You want to say Julian Javier because defensively he was really, really good.
Joe Morgan.
Joe Morgan.
Joe Morgan.
The best one you've seen, or the best one all time?
Best one of all time, I think. And,
Rogers Hornsby.
Rogers Hornsby. Is
Rogers
Well,
Hornsby's greatest all time.
I think-
Yeah, he's the greatest all time.
okay.
So I had to go there. So
Okay.
Eddie and I again.
Hornsby. I mean,
Okay.
even though I didn't see him play,
And then
he
what-
set the standard for infielders for 100 years almost.
And then who you saw play? Who do you pick?
I picked Joe Morgan as the one I'd seen
I do.
play.
I'm going Roberto Alomar.
Oh, I think Julio Javier.
That could have been. That was that was the debate was between the two of
He
those.
got he
I'll tell you another one.
spit on an umpire, and it changed the way
it,
people
yep,
thought of him
completely.
forever.
I'll tell you another one that I thought about was Ryan Sandberg.
That was my second.
Ryan
pick.
Sandberg was
He was great.
And I'll tell you, offensively, the leader among almost all those categories, not in the Hall of Fame, Jeff Kent.
Oh yeah.
Home
yeah.
runs
Yeah.
offensively,
He was
Jeff
great.
Kent.
Yeah, could
He was
be.
great.
You know,
So that could be your guy. Where are we at? Third base.
Third base.
This one, Mike Schmidt for me, hands down.
That's not a hard one to pick.
I don't want to keep saying I'm like 4 for 4 with Eddie here. You thought I was going to say
Ken Boyer.
no,
Oh,
Shannon.
Mike Shannon.
Mike
Yeah.
Shannon. You know, just happened to be on the Coca-Cola bottle today, Mike Shannon. But no, you got to go Mike Schmidt.
No,
Defensively, Brooks
Brooks
Robinson.
Robinson
The
was
Greg
second
nice.
one, that was going to be
Brooks
that was
Robinson
what
was
I
my
started
pick.
looking at was between Brooks and him because growing up that was always
Brooks
that was always
Robinson.
the standard. Brooks Robinson
Those
was the
were the
standard, and then Mike Schmidt came along, kind of knocked him out of the way, and Schmidt just hit the ball
Better
better,
hitter.
a better hitter
Better
than Brooks
hitter.
Robinson.
And he can play defense too.
He could play defense, but
He
he
could
was a
pick
better
it.
hitter.
So those were my two,
Robinson's my
and then
pick.
there was another. That was the one I saw. If I was going to change it from the best one, would be George Brett.
Good call.
Brett was a hitter.
He was a
He
hitter.
just didn't have the home run numbers, but a
Yeah.
good defensive player, great hitter.
As far as seeing, and you guys are going to laugh, and you'll know who he is. I don't know if you will. He was a Braves backup catcher for a number of years, and then the Twins. Henry Blanco,
Yeah,
if you
Yeah.
Henry
Henry
Blanco.
Blanco played a full season for us in Double-A San Antonio at third base, and I'm not kidding you. Probably that season, best third base play I saw ever, day in, day out by anybody.
Should have been stayed at third then.
Yeah.
He couldn't hit for third.
No.
Well, you couldn't hit for catching.
No, but
You couldn't catch for catching, so
He could catch for catching.
he didn't get to play that much.
No.
He did with the Twins once he left, and he was Maddox's private guy there for a couple of years.
Yeah, he just
Eddie
didn't.
Perez.
But he could flat out catch, and he was defensive
Okay.
player.
So
Shortstop.
Shortstop. This was along with first base my hardest one, and to me, Cal Ripken Jr.
See, I knew you were going to say that.
Well, it was hard because I almost picked Jeter, and then I thought, well, no, A-Rod was better, I think, than Jeter, but I still think Cal Ripken.
we know where he's going.
I'm going A-Rod.
Well, really?
Where did you think I was going?
I thought you would have gone with Ozzie.
Ozzie Smith, yeah,
Ozzie
you too.
Smith.
Defensively, Ozzie, but A-Rod, no. How do you? I mean, A-Rod,
A-Rod.
in my opinion, would have gone down as the greatest shortstop
Shortstop
ever, unquestionable.
Yep.
Had he not done Derek Jeter a favor and let Derek Jeter play.
And that's
shortstop.
so underplayed that he did that, because he was the best shortstop in the game when he did that, and he went to third, and Jeter wasn't going to move over. I mean,
Well, A-Rod had the third baseman's body, and
Yeah,
could
he
play
did.
He did.
Yeah, he looked more like a
But-
third baseman than a shortstop.
And that's the second time. And the other time he did it, if you remember, in the All-Star game, Cal Ripken's final All-Star game, he was the starting shortstop, and he moved over to third to let Cal
play
play.
short.
So both of your guys that you're thinking about, there was someone who actually was better at that spot
Yeah.
on that day that let your guy play shortstop.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah, true. But I mean, you take the whole body of work. I still think Cal Ripken, to me, in his prime, was as good as A-Rod, and he
Not
played.
defensive, no.
He wasn't a liability. He
He
wasn't.
wasn't a liability. He
No,
wasn't
at all.
A-Rod. Offensively, he wasn't A-Rod. He played a lot of games,
And
but
he played, and he did well. I mean,
he did do well. But
His stats,
Like Mike Shannon.
Mike Shannon did
his
well.
his stats still say he's better than A-Rod. Believe it or not, Except their defensive stats are not on there. But offensively, his stats say he's better.
No.
Okay.
All right.
I'll show you the site.
300 home runs difference.
Yes, he was not as good a power
He
hitter
wasn't as good a power hitter,
as A-Rod.
but he drew more walks. He got on
MVPs?
base. He played on the Yankees.
One was with the Rangers, wasn't it?
Played two years with the Rangers.
No, he played a few.
Yeah.
Did he win and with the Mariners?
And the Mariners,
Yep.
true.
No, he was better.
He was
Before
right.
he was better
He was great.
before he was a
So
Yankee.
you can argue, I can give you A-Rod, but
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Well, it's our first disagreement.
That's
Okay.
quite all right. Honus Wagner is my all-time favorite. He set the bar. I mean, when you measure shortstops, you measure it against when you think about all it. Now,
See, I have a hard time with the live ball versus dead ball era, completely, and that's why. I mean, I understand exactly where you're coming from.
best of all time. That's what you
but that's,
measured
that,
against.
and I don't. I'm not saying you should look at dead ball players, but it was a different game.
It was a
It was
different,
a different
game.
game.
It was a
Yeah,
different
sure
game.
it was, but it was a different game for all positions.
Yep.
Pitchers and everything. All right, let's
Outfield.
go outfield, left field.
This
Oh, we're going-
outfield
we're
was
not
hard for
going
me.
three
See, that's what I did, and if I'm going to go just a left, see, it was hard for me because
I know.
My
you're
outfield,
first.
my outfield was going to be a certain outfield, but if you're going to left field, I'm going to say Ted Williams.
I agree with that.
In
Ted
left
Williams
field.
is my choice for best
In
of all
left
time.
field.
I'll go 3 there.
All right.
And the best, and it could have been the best one I saw, but I was like, no, it was too young to see that. So I'm going to go pick somebody that I saw, and it's going to make you guys mad, especially you, Barry Bonds, best left fielder I ever saw.
Well, I'm not happy.
Best
about
arm?
it, but he. No. I disagree. And if you have to argue with me, we can ask Sid Bream. That's all I'm going to say.
When he was young.
No, it doesn't matter. He couldn't throw Sid Bream out from middle left field. That's what haunted Bonds. That's why he took steroids, because it haunted him.
All right.
Haunted him.
All right, so anyway, who
Bonds
you
is-
got? Who
no.
you got?
I got Barry Bonds.
I'm going to take Chipper Jones just to be argumentative. No, I mean I
Chipper
don't.
Jones played third base.
He played left field too.
He was up there.
He played. There were so many guys I could pick, and the one guy the way I did my outfield was I did Aaron in left. I put Aaron in left, Mays in center, and Clemente in right. That was my outfield.
Right, but Aaron
But
went in the
Aaron-
Hall of Fame.
You
I
put
went by-
Clemente
In right.
above Babe Ruth
above Babe Ruth in right
The players
field.
I saw.
of players you
Yeah,
saw.
I'm old, but I didn't see Babe Ruth play.
All right, so in right, let's go with right field.
Let's
because-
jump
Okay.
over.
Right field,
Right field is Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth's best one ever.
And it's hard to pick Babe Ruth over Hank Aaron, trust me, and over Clemente, because my thing is this. Okay, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but my thing is this. Babe Ruth didn't have to play that many games at night. He didn't have to travel to the West Coast. He didn't. I mean, he
Yeah, travel by train.
Hank Aaron didn't have to travel by train.
train's an easier ride.
Then a plane, you're there in
going
2
West
hours.
Coast. He never had to go past St. Louis.
You're there 2 hours though. You're 2 days on a train.
And look what he did. He drank himself and ate hot
Exactly.
dogs.
All right, let's
Okay.
Who's the best one you saw? Aaron was my best one because I
was
went by the
hard.
way that they're positioned in the Hall of Fame. That the position that Aaron went in is right field.
Okay. I can't disagree with that. I mean, it's so hard not to pick Clemente, but I'm an Aaron fan. I'll go with Hank Aaron.
Who'd you pick?
Gary Sheffield.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
All right.
not a bad call at all.
Not a bad call.
Not a bad call. Okay, center field.
Center field.
And the only reason is I can sit there and I remember, and with Roberto Clemente, you know what I remember most about Roberto Clemente? Him catching this ball in the corner and spinning and throwing a guy out in the air. And the only reason I remember it is because I've seen that replay about 140 times. And Gary Sheffield, I saw him play every single day.
Okay, we
for
got
two
you.
different-
We got
No, but
you.
I'm saying, but that's
Yeah.
the hard part
Yeah.
about
Right.
remembering Johnny Bench, and
Yeah.
remembering Hank Aaron, and
Right.
remembering
Just see him from our youth.
Right.
Let's move on.
and,
Center field.
and seeing only the highlights in our
Right.
minds, because that's all your
Yeah.
Greatest center fielder of all time.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays. And the greatest you ever saw in person. See, I saw Mays on TV.
Right. I saw Mays on
But
TV.
I picked a different person
Me
for
too.
in person. Who'd you pick?
You pick.
You're gonna-
Griffey.
Griffey. King Griffey Jr.
See, it's funny with Griffey, and now I'm going totally new school, not a lot of body of work and everything like that. But we were in Baltimore the day that Mike Trout went and climbed the center field
It could be
fence,
it.
which was the highlight play of the year and everything like that. And for watching the best play I've ever seen made by a center fielder was Mike Trout that day, and then just seeing the numbers and just what he can do.
He's amazing.
He could be.
He is,
And-
he
and-
He is
is.
amazing.
Given a few more years, I would pick him. But I did not pick any players that are currently playing.
Right, and you want to know, and it's kind of interesting because the way we started it when we were at second base.
We got to do pitchers still too.
Okay, when we were at second base was Roberto, and I mentioned Roberto Alomar. Roberto Alomar was the only guy, him and Griffey, but Griffey was kind of closing out his career. It had already been 11 or 12 years. Alomar was only like 4 or 5 years into his career, and he made the All-Century team. And that's kind of where Mike Trout right now, while we're making our all-time team,
Yep.
I'm putting him in the same boat as
Okay.
I put Alomar and Griffey.
Cool.
All right, let's do pitchers. On one pitcher. You only get one
Pitcher. I know who my
Pitcher.
pitcher is. I know who my pitcher is.
Yep.
Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige of all time.
I like that pick.
That's a good
That's my
pick.
pitcher.
I like that pick, and I unfortunately, all time it could be and everything like that. I like Walter Johnson.
That's a good pick too.
I like Greg Maddux.
How do you go against though Cy Young, the guy the pitching award is named for,
Cy
the guy
Young-
who has
Cy
more
Young-
wins than anybody ever going to have?
Well,
He's
because I don't remember.
You know,
him at
22
all.
years. I know it's the best ever.
I've
Now
never
the
even
one's the
seen
best one you've seen.
highlights.
The best one you've seen.
Well, the best one I've seen, and that's where I went with. See, you want me to say Gibson, or you think I'm going to say Gibson, and I won't. You know,
Okay, so I got to show you
I'm gonna
this.
have to
So on
either
my
Randy
when I
Johnson-
made my
Oh,
list,
see, I was on that one.
this was my pick for right-handed pitcher because I thought we'd do right, left-handed, current, and he was
No
my pick.
way.
You picked
He was my
Glavine?
pick.
No
I picked
way.
Glavine.
You picked Glavine?
Ahead of
Yes,
Carlton, ahead of Koufax.
I personally, I had Koufax as my best all-time left-handed pitcher. I didn't see Koufax that much. I saw him one time when I was a kid.
Ahead of Randy
Ahead of
Johnson.
Randy
I
Johnson.
I think Randy Johnson probably was the most feared left-handed pitcher of all time. He's 6'11". By the time he delivers the ball, he's 60 feet 6
Wow.
inches away. He's what 52 feet away.
Glavine, you want to know the
I like
complaint
Percy- I
you
think
have,
Glavine.
and nothing against him because Glavine was a better pitcher, and I don't want to say he was as bad as, but the complaint you always have, my rant of the week right now, the complaint
Gotta
you
finish it
always
quick,
have,
though. We're overtime.
The complaint you always have on Don Sutton, Glavine is that close to it.
No,
Oh,
no.
see, I don't agree with that
No.
one. But I agree.
Absolutely not.
That Glavine is
Glavine,
But I can see- I can
longevity
see-
did a lot for Glavine.
I can see where
Hall of Fame.
I can see where you would say.
mine that I saw was Maddox.
Max was.
I'm
And
like,
so I went through all those, and
was
I had
amazing.
Johnson there, and I erased his name because I thought I went back and looked at the stats, and Maddox is better. Now Johnson was definitely in his prime, probably better for 1 or 2 years, and overall he was really good. But Maddox was really good for a longer time. So that's the ones we got.
Hey,
Hey,
one question, real quick. This is
We're out of time.
another thing. I know we're out of time. All-time utility player.
there is no.
I got
all-time
two.
utility
All-time
player.
greatest utility player, in my opinion, Jackie Robinson. And
Jackie Robinson.
plays first, third, second,
He
and
went to Hall of Fame as a
outfield.
third.
Bert Campaneris.
Bert Campaneris and Pete
Played
Rose
every
was
game.
the best one I ever saw.
Pete Rose.
Pete
Hey,
Rose.
listen, we could
Should be in the
have
Hall of Fame.
2 or 3 shows on this. We had a lot of fun talking about it. You give us your list at the bottom,
Give us your list.
and hopefully we'll see you next week. Go out and watch some baseball.
Hey,
ball.
you guys, we'll see you next week.